Okay, James, this is problem set 89. I'm here making the video by myself, so hopefully I do okay. Lesson 89 is one of those lessons that is kind of a fat one, the PHAT. It's teaching you about squares or square roots. Now, I put a couple things here on the board. The old school or the easy stuff is when we show you the square root symbol of 25, you know that the square root of 25 is 5. And that 5 squared, I've lifted over here on common regular squares, 5 squared is 25. That's what we're looking at. What identical number gives us the square root of numbers such as 25, 36, 49. Those are what we call perfect squares. Nice, easy numbers to figure. So I've listed some here for you. 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared, and so forth. I stopped at 14 squared. I would encourage you to go ahead and create a list, maybe going up to at least 25 squared, just so you get a ballpark idea of some numbers. It's going to help you with today's lesson. So these are what we call, again, perfect squares. We know 6 times 6 gives us 36, so the square root of 36 is 6. What we're going to look at is how do you figure out squares of larger numbers? And more importantly, how do you figure out squares of numbers that are not perfect? I'll show you what I mean. I'm back. I forgot an eraser. Okay, in a lesson like this, they're going to give you some examples of squares that are still perfect. I believe in the book they gave you the square root of 400. So in your mind, you're going to have to start messing around with some numbers to get you close. This one's not too hard because I know 2 squared is 4, so it makes sense to say 20 squared, or I'm thinking 20 times 20 should give me 400. And it does. So the square root of 400 is 20. Not too bad. Let's go one up. Let's see if the square root of 500 is just as easy. So I'm going to begin thinking about some numbers that are going to get me close. If 20 squared, or 20 times 20 was 400, what would be, I'm going to try to guess, I'm going to say 30 squared. I want to try to find out, is this a perfect square, or if not, what two numbers it falls between. So my first thought is, well, let me think about 30 squared, or 30 times 30. I like to use multiples of 10 because I can take 3 times 3 in my head. I know that's 9. You guys, you know as well, 30 times 30 would be 900. Wow, that's too big. I'm going to back it down. I'm going to try 25. I'm just trying it for size. And I wish I would have put it on my chart so I could just write the answer down. But I get 25, that's 10, 11, 12, 5, 2, add those up, 5, 7, that's 375. 25 squared is 375. I need to go up. I know now that I'm somewhere between 25 and 30. So I'm just going to guess. I'm going to try 27. So I'm going to try 27. Could 27 be the square root of 500, or does it at least get me close? 7 times 7 is 49, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, then I have 14 again, and 4, 5, okay? 9, 12, 5, 6, 7. 729. Now I'm too big. I'm going to back it down again. 25 was pretty small. 27 was pretty big. I'm going to try 26. Could this be the number I'm looking for? 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 2 is 12, 13, 14, 15, 12, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6. 676. All right. This is what I know. 500 doesn't have a perfect square. I'm not going to refilm that, James. I'm going to keep it as it is. What I found out in using whole numbers, and I was just kind of jumping around, I found that 25, the square root of, or 25 squared, I'm going to put it on this side, is the result of 375. 375 is the perfect square for 25. I go to the very next number, 26, and I got 676. So when I found out the 26, it's above 500. So let me put over here, this was the square root of 375, I'll just put that here for you. And this one was as a result of the square root of 676. So, when I'm estimating a square here, I can at least tell you that whatever the real square root of 500 is, it falls between the perfect squares of 25 and 26. You're looking for two consecutive numbers. Now when you get into junior high, you will be taught how to really narrow down what is the square root of 500. And it's going to be 25 point something. It'll fall between 25 and 26. That's what you're going to be doing with some of these numbers. Try to find, if it's not a perfect square, what two consecutive numbers that it might fall between. I'll throw one more up here and hopefully the video will last long enough to do that. Let's say, I'm just going to make up a random number. I'm going to say 813. I want to find what perfect squares it falls between. So again, I'm just going to kind of jump around. I want two numbers. I might think about doing, well, let's see, when we did 30 times 30, that was 900. We did 25 times 25, that was, 675. So it's going to fall somewhere in there. I'm going to try 29 this time. I'm just randomly trying to get close. I know 30 times 30 is 900. That's pretty close. 9 times 9 is 81. 18 plus 18, 19, 20. Yeah, I still count on my fingers when I'm worried that I might make a mistake. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 times 2 is 4, 5. 1, 14, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hey, that's pretty good. I bet that'll be the number I put on this side because it's still bigger than 819 or 813. So I'm just going to drop it down one more. I'm going to go 28. 8 times 8 is 64, 16, 17. That's 22. And that's 16 again, 4, 5. Add these together, 4, 8, 7. Bingo! Just using some logic, just getting close to take a guess. You might do 2 or 3 extra problems, but you'll get good at this. I now know that the square root of 813 falls between 28 and 29. I didn't use a calculator. I hope I didn't make a mistake on the 29. I'll check that in just a minute. If I did, I'll record the whole thing over for you. That's how you're going to work it. I'm going to give you a square. It won't be perfect. Find the two consecutive numbers that it would fall between. So all I'm really looking for is the 28 and 29. If it makes you comfortable, feel free to say, okay, which meant it came from, the square root of 28 is 784, and the square root that gave us 29 was 841. That's fine, but I'm looking for what two perfect squares that it did fall between. Okay, I'll get some problems ready for you. Good luck.